So what is the story of Nintendo's latest Zelda, now that I'm a bit more calm since yesterday's reveal?
Voice acting!
He gets so many weapons!
Armando, shut up.
I thought it would do well to analyze some of the story points of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Seriously, I can't get over that name. Such power. Anyways, let's talk about how the game fits into the timeline. Now, before we discuss this, apparently there is talk that IG Aonuma revealed that the game takes place centuries after Twilight Princess. Nerdist reported on this on their video actually. However, I wasn't able to find the exact quote on Nintendo streams, but that just may be me not looking in the right places. If anyone knows which stream in which Aonuma did reveal the game's timeline, then that would be pretty great. Moving on to something a bit more exciting, we head on to the story of the Breath of the Wild. According to the stream, Link, our main chum, wakes up from this resurrection chamber for reasons. In the same room, he finds this technological marvel known as the Sheikah Slate. Then he is guided by some disembodied voice to venture off outside. I hate when that happens. Across his travels, he meets this old man who may or may not be the king of Hyrule. And who is our main antagonist? Well, apparently Ganon is known as Calamity Ganon this time around, and he is more like a curse, haunting Hyrule Castle for reasons that are undoubtedly plot-related. And again, Link has to save the land. No changing conventions there. He will have to venture across the Sheikah shrines. This time around, we actually know more about the Sheikah. According to the old man, he said they are actually an advanced civilization, and it was through the power and wisdom of the Sheikah that saved Hyrule on multiple occasions. But eventually the civilization disappeared. Now hold on, are all these plot points connected? Later on in the stream, it is revealed that Link was actually sleeping for about 100 years, and for some reason, these Sheikah monks are waiting in the shrine for specifically the hero to return. Is this connected? And if so, what happened to Hyrule prior to these 100 years? Now, this is where we head towards our timeline placement. It feels as though this game has a backstory that is completely independent of the timeline. That being said, Breath of the Wild currently fits in best within the adult timeline, since we see Koroks from Wind Waker, and during the events of that game, these beings are attempting to unflood Hyrule. However, let's be devil's advocate for a moment. If this quote from Aonuma turned out to be true, that Breath of the Wild takes place after Twilight Princess, then how would that make sense? Well, we do see the Great Bridge of Hylia, along with some of the same goats. Additionally, Aonuma himself did state that there would be connections between Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild. But that leaves one mystery. Where did all the Sheikah technology come from? This is the first time we have seen anything like this. Well, kind of in Skyward Sword. According to the timeline, the Sheikah were a prosperous nation prior to the events of Ocarina of Time at least. But in the Breath of the Wild, we see Ganon, who doesn't make an appearance until after the events of Ocarina of Time. So how do we reconcile these differences? Well, if Breath of the Wild takes place in either the child, adult, or downfall timelines, then I wager the game takes place so far away from the other iterations of the series that everything kind of resets in Hyrule. But how do we explain the Sheikah? Well, let's take a look at the Twilight found in Twilight Princess. These people used to be the Sheikah, and if we take a look at their works, or in this case, technology, we see some similarities between the Twilight and Sheikah technology. For example, the light orb in Twilight Princess does appear similar to the Sheikah bombs in Breath of the Wild. This may be a trivial correlation, but it does lead up with our theory. If Breath of the Wild takes place in the far future of the Zelda timeline, it may be possible that the Twilight re-emerged back from the Twilight realm, and thus reconnected with their Sheikah roots. This may be a bit far-fetched, but it would make sense in light of Calamity Ganon, since we are dealing with the Beast Ganon and not the Gerudo Ganondorf, who both make their first appearance at Ocarina of Time, timeline-wise. And it would also fit in with Aonuma's statement that Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild will have some connections. And at the ending of Twilight Princess, the Mirror of Twilight shattered, severing the connection between the Twilight Realm and the Light World. However, this only occurred in the child timeline. It did not happen in the adult timeline or the downfall timeline, meaning that the Twilight have the ability to travel in the light world, which may or may not be likely. However, there is another possibility that Breath of the Wild has a story that has very little to do with the rest of the timeline. Who knows, maybe there's a backstory to this game that we virtually have no clue. But what do you guys think? What is the story of the Breath of the Wild? Also, I am working on another theory on the topic, dealing with why Link is sleeping in the Resurrection Chamber, and what does it all mean? And that video will be up shortly. Also, this is another unscripted video. Do you guys like this format more, as opposed towards my scripted videos? Let me know. Anyways, I enjoyed our time talking with you. Hope you all the best, and take care. Also, here's a short clip of some of the funny bits in our stream last night.
No, very theatrical.
You're having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for breakfast?
Why
Oh my
not?
god, it looks like they've done a live.
You guys are gonna be the first to die, I'm just warning you. Oh, did you see my beautiful desktop, Andy, in dank memes?
Oh,
It's
I'll check that
beautiful.
out.
See, I thought you had already made the sandwich, but no, you're making it on stream right now.
Yeah, of course.
How rude.
And now you're gonna witness me eating this said sandwich.